18-year-old nearing the end of her first trimester is found dead inside her car with a gunshot wound to the head.
The defendant guilty of first-degree murder.
A gray Nissan sat still in the quiet dark of a Florida park. The windows were fogged, one door left slightly open, and there was blood spreading on the ground beside it. Inside that car was 18-year-old Kaylin Fiengo. She had been shot in the head. Her life ended in that silent moment, and she was carrying a child who would never be born. The man who killed her was not a stranger. He was the father of her unborn baby, a man so afraid of his own choices that he decided to erase them with a bullet.
An 18-year-old nearing the end of her first trimester is found dead inside her car with a gunshot wound to the head. Police tracked down her killer. It was the father of her unborn child, but he was keeping secrets of his own, which police say drove him to kill. This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner.
It was November 11, 2022, when police in Sanford received a call about a car sitting in the parking lot of Coastline Park. The engine was still running when officers arrived. The windshield was fogged from the heat inside, and every window was closed except the driver's. There was blood on the ground near the door and along the side of the car. Nothing appeared stolen. Her purse and phone were both still inside. That is when officers realized this was not a random crime or a robbery. Someone had come there to make sure she would never leave that car alive.
Pregnancy with her second child when she was found dead inside her car. On November 11th of 2022, officers with the Sanford Police Department were doing their usual patrols. But when an officer spotted a car in the parking lot of Coastline Park, officers noticed the gray Nissan was still running. According to their report, there was condensation on the front windshield. All of the car windows were closed except for the driver's side window. They also noticed blood. Officers noted that there was blood on the ground next to the rear driver's side passenger door and blood on the exterior of the driver's side door. Inside the Nissan was Kaylin's lifeless body, as blood was dripping from her head. Officers noted in their report her seat was leaned back, a small purse was on the passenger floorboard, her phone was still in the car, so this didn't appear to be a robbery. All of her personal items.
Kane's close friend Simone had grown worried when calls and messages went unanswered. She used the Find My iPhone app to trace Kane's phone to that same park. That decision led her straight to the scene of her friend's death. Simone told investigators that Kane had planned to meet Donovan Faison that night. He was the father of her unborn child. He said he wanted to talk, but that meeting turned into a trap. It would be the last time anyone saw her alive.
Also recovered a single 9mm shell case on the ground near the car. When crime scene technicians were collecting evidence, Kaylin's friend Simone arrived on scene. Simone told officers she tracked Kaylin there through her Find My iPhone after she didn't hear from her. She told officers Kaylin was supposed to be meeting with her, quote, second baby daddy. Simone even showed the officers who he was, 21-year-old Donovan Faison. According to officers, Simone told them in her interview,
Donovan was already in a relationship with another woman. Just a few days before the murder, Kane had sent a message to that woman on social media, telling her she was pregnant with his baby. That message exploded his secret. Friends said Donovan became angry and started pushing Kane to take a Plan B pill. When she refused, he turned cold. He deleted their messages, sent fake texts from her account, and tried to make it look as if the pregnancy was not his problem. It was clear he wanted the situation erased, no matter what it took.
Said, "We can talk, I'm just not arguing with you." Simone consented to having her phone extracted. Police say there were a lot of screenshots sent by Kaylin showing Donovan was well aware Kaylin was pregnant. He offered to buy her Plan B because he didn't want to have another baby. Kaylin's messages revealed she was apprehensive about meeting up with Donovan. She told her friends, "But I'm skeptical because I feel like his Plan A texting himself failed, so WTF he trying to do now?" Kind of confusing, right? But Simone explained Kaylin and Donovan met up the week before, and during that.
Before Kane left home that night, she dropped her little boy off with his father. As she stood there, she said something that still chills everyone who hears it. She told him, "I hope I did not get punched in the stomach." It sounded strange then, but later it became a haunting sign that she knew she was walking into danger. Those were her last known words before she drove to meet Donovan.
Investigators also spoke with the father of Kaylin's first child. He told police that on November 11th, Kaylin dropped off their son to his apartment and that she seemed in a rush.
Police questioned Donovan soon after murder. He acted calm, saying his relationship with Kane was only physical. He claimed he had stayed home that evening to watch his newborn baby while his girlfriend went out to a club. He denied meeting Kane, denied being at the park, and denied having anything to do with the crime. But even in his answers, something felt off. He admitted that he had talked about abortion before. He also admitted deleting messages once Kane told his girlfriend about the pregnancy. His words were full of distance, as if he was trying to step away from a story that had already caught up with him.
Hours later, she was dead. When investigators searched through Donovan's home, he initially claimed he wanted to clear his name. According to the arrest warrant, Donovan told investigators he and Kaylin's relationship was just sexual. He said on the day of the murder, he went to work, then his mom's house, and he was home by 8:30 p.m. He told police he stayed home with his 1-month-old baby so his girlfriend could go to the club in Orlando. Donovan said he met Kaylin through Instagram. He claimed that the last time he had contact with her was sometime in early October or even September.
Were you supposed to meet up with her? I wasn't supposed to meet up with her. I was nothing with her. We didn't have no conversation of meeting up, nothing.
While he knew she was pregnant, he didn't believe the baby was his. He admitted to mentioning.
Investigators searched his phone and uncovered the most disturbing evidence. Just days before Kane's death, Donovan had texted a friend saying, "Wait till I get that drop. It is for her. I am not sparing." Those words were dark and clear. After the murder, he tried to clean up his tracks. He posted an old picture pretending to be in Virginia. He searched how to delete location history, how to hide his IP address, and even asked if a phone can still be tracked when it's turned off. Every search showed that he knew what he had done and was trying to make it disappear. It was a crime carefully planned, typed out in his own digital footprints.
At the doctors. "Wait till I get that drop, it's for her. I'm telling you, just got me heated. On my brother's grave, I'm trying to crop her out. I'm not sparing." On the day of Kaylin's murder, Donovan's girlfriend messaged him on Instagram. "Why isn't your location is not working?" "Oh, because your phone's off. LMAO, weird. Bro, WTF, where the F are you?" On November 12th, Donovan tried to cover his tracks. He posted on Instagram that he was in Virginia. But police say that was an old image, actually timestamped from February. Then he made searches like how to clear your location history on settings, how to clear your history on settings, IP address on iPhone. On November 15th, he searched, if your phone is turned off, can you IP address be tracked? Donovan could only get away with it for so long. 10 months after Kaylin's murder, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony homicide, 1 count for Kaylin and 1 count for her unborn child. But by the time he went on trial, that charge was upgraded to first-degree murder. He went on trial this year, and prosecutors are even...
Almost a year after Kane's murder, the silence finally broke. Police arrested 21-year-old Donovan Faison. He faced 2 counts of homicide, 1 for Kane and 1 for her unborn baby. Prosecutors said this was not a crime of passion. It was a planned execution. Soon after, they upgraded the charges to first-degree murder and announced that they would seek the death penalty. It was clear they believed every move he made was deliberate.
10 months after Kaylin's murder, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony homicide, 1 count for Kaylin and 1 count for her unborn child. But by the time he went on trial, that charge was upgraded to first-degree murder.
Inside the courtroom, the defense tried to paint a picture of uncertainty. They said there were no fingerprints on the gun, no eyewitnesses, and no clear proof he pulled the trigger. But prosecutors said the evidence was in the digital trail, his texts, his searches, his lies. Those messages showed intent, motive, and planning. In October 2024, a jury in Seminole County found him guilty of first-degree premeditated murder, killing of an unborn child, and burglary. Under Florida law, the death penalty now needs only 8 jurors to agree, the lowest requirement anywhere in the United States. That law, like this case, stirred a deep debate about justice.
On October 27th, the Seminole County jury found the now 23-year-old guilty of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm while inflicting death, killing of an unborn child by injury to mother with a firearm while inflicting death, and burglary of a conveyance with an assault or battery with a firearm while inflicting death.
We find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder.
But the case isn't over. It's moving into the next phase, the penalty phase, since prosecutors are pursuing the death penalty. And jurors in Florida...
Former State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg later spoke about why the prosecution's decision to seek death did not surprise him. He said this case checked every box of the death penalty. It was cold, planned, and involved the killing of a pregnant woman and her unborn child. He called it the quiet part said out loud, because Donovan's own text exposed the truth. Ehrenberg also raised a serious question, whether Florida's new rule allowing death with only 8 votes would stand up in court. It was a chilling reminder that even justice can carry its own controversy.
The case that prosecutors are seeking the death penalty?
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
Because first, you're in a conservative part of the state, and you have some factors here that would qualify it for the death penalty. You can't just say, well, I don't like the guy, we're going to seek the death penalty. Under Florida law, you have to have certain statutory aggravators. Like, was it cold, calculated, and premeditated? Yeah, sure looks like it. Right. Did it involve another felony? Well, here, can involve the felony of burglary. You go inside someone's car, that's a burglary. And then you're dealing with an unborn child. So these are three possibilities where the prosecution can hang their hat to get the death penalty in this case.
And what aspects of this case overall are the most shocking to you? I mean, there's just so many different aspects. One, that he was cheating on his girlfriend with somebody else, the woman gets pregnant, and then he's like, oh, you need an abortion, she didn't get it, and then she ends up dead. Or is it the fact that he planned this by what I saw from the arrest affidavit, where it's just like all these searches, telling his friends, telling his girlfriend, turning off his phone? What do you think was the most shocking part of this case?
He said the quiet part out loud. In his text messages to his friends, he made it clear what he was going to do. He said he was going to crop her out.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't talking about a picture. And the brazenness, just the feeling that you can murder someone, openly talk about it, and just leave the body in a car and think that the cell phone that you have is not going to be a tracker, that we don't have technology to trace it back to you. The thing that surprised me also is that it took 10 months to arrest him.
I know. I was very surprised by that too.
Yeah, usually when a young woman like that is murdered, and it was clear this was a murder, then you look to see, well, was she pregnant and who's the father? It's a domestic. That's what you're always looking for. First thing, is there a boyfriend, a husband, someone? And that's why here you had someone with means, motive, and opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's why I was a little surprised it took 10 months, but I guess that law enforcement and prosecutors wanted to make sure that they had this guy dead to rights, that there was no chance of a law enforcement mistake that would allow him to go free.
Are you surprised the case only went to trial this year, as opposed to not going out sooner?
Well, yeah, the fact that, it took 10 months. Death penalty cases, though, take longer. Once you seek the death penalty, it does slow things down because it is the ultimate penalty, and you want to make sure you get it right. And there are experts that have to come in, and it's a bifurcated trial. First you have the guilt phase, and then you have the penalty phase, and we're about there for the penalty phase. So it can be a lot quicker, a lot easier if you just seek life in prison. But this office wanted to go for the death penalty. I think it's the right decision. And one more thing about that, in Florida, even though you have to prove at least one aggravator beyond a reasonable doubt unanimously in front of the jury, but the actual vote of the jurors only needs to be 8-4.
Yes.
Which is the lowest burden in the country. And I'm wondering.
Law enforcement instructor Sunny Slaughter said she has seen many murders, but this one stayed with her. She said Kane was just a teenager, already a mother, and pregnant again when her life was taken. The brutality of it broke her heart. Sunny defended how long investigators took, saying she preferred them to go slow and get it right instead of rushing and making mistakes. She said Donovan's actions after the murder, deleting evidence, pretending to be out of town and posting fake photos, showed pure calculation. It was not a moment of rage. It was planned, thought out, and completely heartless.
It's really a brutal murder. I mean, shooting a young pregnant woman at that in the head and just leaving her body there to just die.
Thank you for having me as always. I really, unfortunately, our conversations are never anything fun. And this particular case is one of the most heinous cases that, I've done, in these past couple of weeks. These are recurring criminal acts, and they're so violent. She was very young. She was already a mom, and then she was only in her first trimester, and it merely took a text to the child's father to end her life. I'm not sure what people are thinking about when it comes to these relationships and how they want to end things. And ending someone's life by shooting them in the head while they're pregnant with your child or any child is just, it is a sign of where our humanity, the lowness of our humanity, and it's beyond criminal. It's just too much.
It is too much, exactly, because thinking about just what investigators found inside of her car, they saw the sonogram that was inside her car, and as well as her child's car seat in the back of the car too. And just with all of what investigators found kind of in those initial months of the investigation, why do you think Donovan's arrest came nearly 10 months after Kaylin was killed? I was really surprised by that because it appeared like there was a lot of evidence against him.
You know, I think what law enforcement is working, when they're doing it right, we always want things to happen quickly. But I would, as an instructor, I want law enforcement professionals to really do their due diligence, to really shore up the investigative methodology and how making sure they talk to everyone, making sure that they have everything, all of the dots connected, because what we don't want to see is that they do a quick investigation because everything appears clear, and they leave out something that then is critical and allows a criminal defendant to walk away from a crime that we are absolutely sure they committed, but we didn't do enough due diligence to ensure that they were also convicted of it.
And do you think any parts of the investigation could have been handled differently?
I'm not sure why it took 10 months. That is a very long time. But I do think that there are parts of the investigation where immediately from, because she was still pregnant, to get everybody in to interview, to ensure that the timelines, it doesn't seem like, unless there's a backlog in the system or something, and they needed to have evidence that they wanted to have for trial in place, that they just made sure. I just think it was a little longer than I would have guessed, but I think if they did what they needed to do, hopefully they didn't miss anything in a 10-month-long investigation. I'd rather for them to go.
When asked about his motive, Sonny said it was heartbreakingly simple. He did not want the child. To him, the pregnancy was an inconvenience, not a life. The text that sealed his fate still sends chills. I am trying to crop her out. I am not sparing. Those were not just words. They were a promise he kept. His lack of remorse, his calm tone, it all showed a man who cared more about hiding a secret than saving a life.
That just shows the callousness of the individual. I mean, there are plenty of people who don't want another child. She may not have even put him on child support. To go to that extreme, if that is your extreme, then I think the consequences meet the extremity and the extremeness of your heinous.
The next stage will decide if Donovan Faison spends his life in prison or faces execution. For Kane's family, no sentence will bring her back, but they hope justice brings peace. She was young, full of love, and trying to protect her unborn child. October, the same month this verdict came, is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is a painful reminder that silence in abusive relationships can cost lives. Sometimes, the warning signs are there, but they go unnoticed until it's too late.
National Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that we should consider these crimes domestic violence murders. We should not, even though they might not be counted in the numbers, I think we need to do at least recognize the gravity of what continues to happen.
Absolutely. Again, Sonny Slaughter, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Donovan Faison's death penalty.
Unborn child, a silenced mother, 2 lives lost to one man's fear and control. The case of Kaylin Fiengo is not just about murder. It is about how secrecy can destroy everything. Should he face the death penalty? Or is life in prison enough? Share your thoughts below. And if you want more true crime stories where hidden motives lead to tragedy, subscribe and tell me what case I should cover next.